Green Tree Productions is proud to present Duncanville Weekly News. It's the good news just for the City of Champions, Duncanville, Texas. And now, here's your host, John Thompson.
Hello, world, America, Texas, and Duncanville, and welcome to this edition of Duncanville Weekly News for the last part of March 2017. Glad you logged on and are watching. Well, as you can see, it's baseball season, and Coach Scott Fahey of the Duncanville Panthers is here, and he's going to be telling us about the season up to this point, and he's going to do that right after this.
It's springtime in Texas, and that means Duncanville Panther baseball right here on Duncanville Weekly News and the Panther Dugout Show. The Panther Dugout Show brings us updates and highlights of the past few games and a peek ahead to the Panthers' next games. The Panther Dugout Show is brought to us by James Memorial Chapel, the Pope Financial Group of Raymond James, by the Wolverton Company, serving the heating and cooling needs of the Duncanville area for longer than anybody can remember, by Chubby's Family Restaurant on Cockrell Hill for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and there's a reason why they do a lot of catering. Leon Miller Commercial Properties. Need some commercial space? Call Leon at 972-709-7181. By Roma's Italian Bistro at 100 South Main. Call 972-298-5900 for free delivery or dine-in. Entries are prepared freshly cooked for every order. By Glow Family Dental, General and Cosmetic Dentistry. Your smile is their top priority. They are here at 427 West Wheatland or call 972-298-2027. Glow Family Dental. And now with the Panther Dugout Show, here's John with all the highlights.
Hello, Duncanville baseball fans, and welcome to the Panther Dugout Show on Duncanville Weekly News. As you can see, Coach Scott Fahey is here to tell us about those Duncanville Panthers as they started their season. And Scott, we've had a couple of changes in the schedule this year. Tell us about that first.
Well, with the new district, with the 3 Irving schools, district play set up in a series style format where you'll play the same high school both on Tuesday and Friday of the same week. And the Irving schools were in district last year where that style of play was used. Our district last year was in the round robin format. And so it just brings up some interesting decisions as far as pitchers are concerned, and setting up matchups for your team to be successful against the other schools.
Yeah. And I wish we had about an hour to discuss the pitch count, but we'll just let that go. Well, tell us about your season so far, and I know you played in several tournaments to begin with, but you started with Bishop Lynch, and tell us what happened there.
Opening night for the 2017 Duncanville Panther baseball team. We host Bishop Lynch, and before the game we honor and recognize the parents and all the players of the varsity. And then before the game, Tim Martell throws out the ceremonial first pitch to his son, number 10, Noah Martell, at home plate as the season gets kicked off. Before the game, we're meeting with the umpires, discussing ground rules. Right before number 3, George Trevino takes the mound and shuts down Bishop Lynch in the top of the first. In the bottom of the first, Raul leads off with a walk. And then with 1 out, Alex Sanchez delivers a single in the right field. Then Ray Harmio hits the ball sharply to the first baseman. It gets over his glove in the right. As Raul comes around and races home, Alec comes to third, and the Panthers have an early 1-0 lead. Noah then comes up and lines a ball on the left. That plates Alec and drives the Panther lead to 2-0. After Bishop Lynch puts a couple runs up on the board in the top of the third, we pick up action with a leadoff walk in the bottom of the fourth to Raul. That's followed by a infield single by George to the third baseman. That brings up Alec. And on a ball down in the dirt, Raul gets a good read on it and is able to steal third base while George advances to second, putting two guys in scoring position. After a drop third strike to Alec, Raul made a pretty good play to draw a throw to third from the catcher, which allowed everybody to be safe. Andrew Budzinski then comes up and hits a two-run single on the left. And then somehow Bishop Lynch was able to get the ball back off the backstop and make a play at the plate on Alec, as the Panthers finished that inning with a 4-3 lead. After Lynch scored a run in the fifth to tie it at 4, we pick up action in the bottom of the seventh with a leadoff walk to Devin McPhail. He later reaches third base on a pass ball. Jonathan Pineda draws a walk. And then in order to try to set up a double play and a force at every base, Bishop Lynch decides to intentionally walk Chris Polk. And pretty soon after that, Bishop Lynch, they spike another fastball. Ball gets away from the catcher. McPhail scores a winning run. And the Panthers start the season off with a home win by a final score of 5-4. The Panthers traveled to Royce City as part of the what's now known as a Tri-City Opening Week tournament. This year it took place in Royce City, Frisco Heritage, and Garland Naaman Forest. Against Royce City, we start number 17, Nick Flores, sophomore left-hander. Pretty stiff wind blowing from right field to left. And after 3 full innings, Royce City has a 5-0 lead on the Panthers. In the top of the fourth with 1 out and nobody on, Alec drives the ball deep into the right center gap. The ball checks up for the center fielder and holds Alec to a single. We courtesy run David Budzinski at first base. And then Ray Jaramillo promptly singles in the left. And as the ball is misplayed and kicked around by the left fielder, David hustles to third. And Ray hustles to second to put Panthers at second and third. Andrew then singles in the center. That plates a run as the Panthers have runners at first and third, trailing 5-1. Andrew would later steal second base, and with Noah at the plate, catcher makes a good block, but it's ball 4, which loads the bases. Devin McPhail then singles sharply in the right field. That plates 2 runs. And the Panthers now trail 5-3. Nick Chavez then lines the ball to center field. Noah tags up from third. And the Panthers are now within 1 run after 3.5. In the top of the 7th, trailing 8-4, Nick Chavez reaches on a walk. Chris Polk walks. After previous runners had advanced on a wild pitch, George Trevino hits a sac fly in the right to make the score 8-5. This game ends with a ground ball up the middle as Royce City gets the fielder's choice, forced out at second base on a ball off the bat of Ray. And this game ends with a final score of Royce City 8, Duncanville 6. But we turn around right after that, get a chance to play again, this time against Marshall High School. Junior Hector Cron gets the start in this matchup. And in the top of the second, with no score, Ray continues his hot hitting on the day with a line drive in the left field. It gets misplayed by the Marshall left fielder. Ray hustles all the way in to third base. The Panthers have a man at third and nobody out. Andrew then singles in the right field. Gives the Panthers an early 1-0 lead. Again, Ray Harmio, number 1-6. Another sharp single in the center. He would later steal second base. And Devin McPhail comes up. He lines a ball in the center field. We have to hold up Ray at third. But with runners on first and third, Martell singles through the left side, drives in Ray, and then McPhail hustles all the way to third base after the misplay by the Marshall left fielder. And with runners on first and third, Panthers try a double steal. Catcher throws it in the ground to the shortstop, who picks it and throws a strike to the plate. They make a good play. They get Devin out at home to end that threat. In the bottom of the fifth, after Marshall has tied it at 2, we get a big strikeout from number 1, Adam Mojica, to end the Marshall threat. Then Adam leads off the top of the 7th with a walk. He would later steal second base. And then Raul comes through with a single through the left side with a dive and shortstop. That plates Adam, gives the Panthers a 3-2 lead. Raul would later get picked off at first base, and then with 2 out, nobody on, Alec continues to swing the bat well. He singles back through the middle. Ray collects his 4th hit of the afternoon in this game, in this contest, with another liner in the left. A walk to Andrew loads the bases with 2 out. And then when the base is loaded, Devin walks to push across the 4th run for the Panthers, giving them a 2-run lead. And as we head to the bottom of the 7th, we hand the ball over to number 6, sophomore Jonathan Pineda, who gets the final out of this contest with a towering fly ball to third. Ray hangs with it for the final out of the contest. Panthers win 4-2. Other action in the tournament, the Panthers defeated Kaufman 3-2 and Frisco Heritage 5-2. Then on Saturday, Amarillo, the state's third-ranked team in 5A, beat the Panthers 5-2. Then Panthers had an offensive explosion against the Fort Worth Eastern Hills team as we won that game 22-0. In the Waxahachie tournament, the opening game has the Panthers against Birdville. Sophomore Nick Flores takes the mound as the Panthers had a pretty good crowd on hand to support their baseball team. New athletic director was in attendance, hanging out at the ball yard and watching some old-fashioned hardball.
Pep, shut up and wave. Yeah.
Birdville has a 2-0 lead into the top of the 6th when Raul leads off with a single through the left side. He would later steal second base. And then Devin lays down a really nice bunt. Catcher comes out, makes a good play on it. Just barely gets Devin at first, but that puts Raul at third with 1 out. And on a 3-ball, no strike count, Alec turns the fan and laces a double down the left field line. That scores Raul and cuts the lead in half. With Sanchez now at third and 2 out, Andrews singles down the left field line. That ties it at 2. And it would stay that way as Jonathan gets out of a 2-out jam with 2 men on. He gets a pop-up in the center as McPhail squeezes the final out of the 6th and takes this into the top of the 7th. In the top of the 7th with 1 out, Adam singles in the center. Chris Polk pinch runs and advances to second on a pass ball. Pinch hitter Mark Ibarra draws a walk, put runners at first and second. We reinsert the starter David at first, and then Raul hits a ball sharply down the left field line. That scores Polk from second. Devin then hits a ground ball to the right side, and his hustle to first base causes some confusion. That plates Raul. Devin was later balked to second base, and with Ray at the plate, he singles back to the middle. That scores McPhail, as the Panthers now lead 6-2. The inning continues because hitting's contagious. Once one guy gets a hit, they all seem to hit. With men on second and third, Noah hits a ground ball to short. With the bobble, Ray's able to score to make the score 7-2. And then Nick Chavez comes up and lines one in the center to plate the Panthers' 8th run. After 6.5, Panthers lead 8-2. And with Pineda still in the game on the mound, we get a ground ball to short and a force out at second, as the Panthers defeat Birdville with a final of 8-2. And in tournament play, we turn right back around, this time facing the number 4 team in the state in Conference 5A. Hetacron's on the mound for us. And in the bottom of the second with 2 out, Noah Martell takes a curveball to the helmet, puts a runner at first base. Hector then lines a double down the right field line, which rolls and rolls and rolls and rolls. Martell hustles all the way around from first base and scores, as Hector helps himself out with a RBI double. As they put runners on, with 2 out and 1 on, this one ends with a fly ball in the left field, and a good play by the White House left fielder. But the 3rd out ends this game with a final score of 4-3. The next morning, the Panthers fell to Trinity by a score of 2-1. And then against Corsicana, in the second game of the day, we then try to get the tying run to second. Andrews slides into second base safely as the ball gets away from the middle infielders. Ray scores to make it 2-1. And the game ends with a ground ball to short, with a tying run on second base So after tournament play ended, we hosted a non-district game against Molina on Friday night, and then district play started against Irving High School. Friday night, we hosted Molina High School. In the bottom of the first, Raul leads off with a hit by pitch. That's followed with a single through the left side by number 3, George Trevino. Then after double play ground ball by Ray Jaramillo, Alex Sanchez delivers a sharp single back through the middle, and that plates Raul and gives the Panthers a 1-0 lead. In the bottom of the third, after Molina's put a couple runs on the board, Alec hits a long double deep in the left field. Andrew Budzinski follows with a single through the right side. And Alec hustles around third base and scores our second run to tie the score at 2. With Andrew at third base, Devin McPhail hits a ground ball to the shortstop. Andrew outruns the throw to the plate, and that puts the Panthers up 3-2. In the bottom of the fourth, with a Panthers trailing 5-3, Adam leads off with a sharp ground ball to third that's misplayed. Raul then lays down a good sacrifice bunt to get Mojica to second. And upon replay, it appeared Raul was safe at first. Ray Jaramillo then follows with a single in the right center. That scores Adam from second base and makes the score 5-4. In the bottom of the sixth, with the Panthers trailing 7-4, after Nick Chavez reaches base and a catcher's interference by Mark Ibarra, Raul bunts back towards the mound, and the Molina pitcher makes a good play and gets a force out at third. Then with 2 outs, Ray Jaramillo singles again to the right side. That loads the bases with 2 out. And the Panthers pulled to within 7-5. In the bottom of the seventh, with the score still 7-5 and 2 on, 2 out, the game ends with a fly ball to the center fielder by Raul. And the Panthers fall in this contest to the Molina Jaguars by a final score of 7-5. District play kicks off as the Panthers travel to Irving High School. It's Duncanville's first chance to find out what this series setup's going to be like in district play, where we play the same team twice in the same week. We pick up action in the top of the first with 1 out, nobody on. George singles back through the middle to give the Panthers their first base runner. That's promptly followed by Alex Sanchez with a deep drive to left. 1 hops the fence. And George hustles all the way around from first base to put the Panthers ahead 1-0. Devin McPhail then draws a walk. And with men on first and third, we run a first and third double steal. Catcher throws it to the shortstop, who throws it towards home plate. The ball's cut off by the pitcher. Devin's safe at second, and the Panthers go up 2-0. Andrew Budzinski then follows with a sharp single to left to put Panthers at first and third again. And then a walk to Nick Chavez loads the bases with 2 out. With Noah Martell at the plate, McPhail races home on a pass ball. And then here comes Andrew a few pitches later on another pass ball. Noah then lines a deep line drive into center. It beats the center fielder as it goes over his head. As Noah cruises in with a stand-up double, putting the Panthers up 5-0. Irving scored 1 run in the bottom of the first off a senior number 5, Raul Gonzalez, who then leads off the top of the second with a walk. He later steals second base, advances to third on a ground ball by George Trevino, and then scores on the sacrifice fly by Ray. In the bottom of the second, with the runners at first and second and 2 out, we get a ground ball up the middle. Chavez makes a good backhand play to end the Irving Tiger threat. And then in the bottom of the third, with a score 6-2, or actually 6-1, the men on first and second, we get a pop-up behind the first base bag. Runner at second scores, and then the guy that dives in head first at the plate scored from first base after a wide throw. But then the inning ends with another good backhand play by Nick Chavez as that Irving rally is ended. In the top of the fourth, Noah collects another hit with a line drive into center. He would later steal second base and advance to third on a balk. And then with the count 1 ball, 2 strikes, David Budzinski lifts a fly ball to deep left, which allows Martell to tag up and score from third base, giving the Panthers their 7th run. In the bottom of the 7th, with the score still 7-3, with a man on and 2 outs, sophomore Jonathan Pineda comes in and closes this ball game out with a strikeout for the Panthers' first district win. And then Friday, we hosted Irving High School. And John, tell us what happened.
Friday night, the Irving Tigers were here at Coach Bob Rombeck Field. And junior George Trevino is on the mound for the Panthers for this one. And it was a pleasant evening, and here's what the scoreboard looked like all night. We go to the Panther 4th, trailing 2-0, and with 1 out and nobody on, Devin McPhail hits a double to right field. But he got picked off. So we go to the 5th, still trailing 2-0. Sophomore Noah Martell leads off with a 2-base hit to center. But he was left stranded. So we go to the Panther 6th, now trailing 4-0. And with 1 out and nobody on base, Alex Sanchez, a senior, unloads to the left and hits the top of the R on the Coach Bob Rombeck field sign. But that was it for the 6th. So the teams go now to the 7th, still trailing 4-1. Sophomore Nick Chavez leads off with a base on balls. And senior Chris Polk, courtesy runs, and then Noah walks, and Chris goes to second. This was followed by a strikeout and a flyout. So with 2 outs and 2 on, George comes through with a solid hit to right field to plate Chris to make it 4-2 Tigers with the tying runs on base. But sophomore Ray Jaramillo grounds back to the pitcher and is underhanded thrown out to end this one. Final, Irving 4 and the Panthers 2, as both teams finished the first week of district play at 1-1. Each show we have a play of the week. And Scott, what was it this time?
This was the opening night ceremonial first pitch by Noah Martell's father, Tim Martell, and we had it set up where he actually threw the first pitch to Noah at the plate catching. It was a special night, special moment. And that's why it's the play of the week.
The play of the week is brought to us by the Pope Financial Group of Raymond James. For all your investment needs, call John at 972-780-0533 or come by 222 East Wheatland right here in Duncanville. It's the Pope Financial Group of Raymond James.
So now, Scott, we're in the district, so tell us what's coming up.
Well, we'll host Cedar Hill Tuesday night, followed by going to Cedar Hill on Friday, and then we'll take on the Nimitz Vikings at home, and then travel to Nimitz on the following Friday.
Okay, Scott, we're looking forward to those games, man. We'll be back on April the 1st with highlights of those games and more. As we close, let's see some scenes from the Flavor of Duncanville that was held during spring break here at the high school. See you April 1st.
Don't take this picture. Welcome to the Duncanville Flavor of Duncanville.
Glad you came.
Lots of food.
No. Get that in there. Do not leave the food. I'll come eat it all. Visit about